Okay, welcome back. So the next thing I want to talk about is that a lot of times what we see in maps threads are, hey, did you get a copy of the website? Did you download all the pictures? And inevitably people say no, and then the pictures are gone because fraudsters like to go ahead and change what we're looking at while we're looking at it. So the next piece of software I'd like to introduce you to is called HTTrack. And let me see if I can find this real quick. HTTrack.com. This is a spider or a backup utility or a website copier, whatever you want to call it, depending on how you use it. That really determines what it is, but it will go and grab everything that it can find off of the website and pull a local copy of it. So what I did here for this video, I was going to run the whole thing, but it takes a long time. So I went ahead and pulled down HTTrack.com with a level 2 download, and that is done. So I've got two websites past whatever HTTrack had. I'm going to walk you through that right now so you can see exactly what has occurred. But go here to HTTrack. You can download it for Windows, for Mac, for any of the Unixes. Especially if you have package manager of some sort like apt or packages or whatever, you can install it really easily. So let's see here. Stand by a sec while I pull it up. And here it is. When you download and install it, you're going to launch into this new wizard. I've got this slid over a lot here because I don't want you to see all the stuff that I have. We're just going to walk through the wizard. We're going to say next. Project name. You can type a new name here. Type a new name, right? Or you can click the drop down, and right here I have HTTrack for Bullshido. Again, with the category, you can type a new name or select from the drop down of existing stuff. Your base path, this is where it's going to save everything underneath a project directory. So in this case, it'll be C, my website's HTTrack for Bullshido, which you can see here. C, my website's HTTrack for Bullshido, and there's a whole bunch of stuff over here I don't want you to see. So I'll be editing that out later. We'll go next. So here, normally you would say download websites as your initial option. And then in this box, you can list the websites that you want to download. Pretty simple, right? So let's go into the options because there are some things here that we want to do. Particularly, we're going to look at scan rules, limits, and flow control. So let's start with scan rules. Scan rules I usually do not touch, but basically you can include or exclude various file types. So maybe you don't want to download every video from their site, or maybe you don't want to download every HTML from the site, you just want to download the images. This is where you can control that. Limits are important. Okay, so the maximum mirroring depth, we don't really touch. The maximum external depth, that controls how many websites we're going to leave. So if we start on HTTrack.com, then we'll go to the next website, for example, dojopress.com, and then we'll go to all of the websites that are linked off of dojopress.com. So you can see this is something that you want to use very carefully, because you can end up with a lot of mirrored data that may not be relevant. So I have 2 here. You probably want to go 1, but 2 is a little excessive. You can say in bytes how big, if anything, you want to pull down. How much time you want to spend actually downloading it. I would just leave this blank so that you just let it run overnight, whatever, kick it off before you go to bed. The maximum transfer rate. This is an important question because you will basically operate at your bandwidth or their bandwidth. If you operate at your bandwidth, you're possibly going to run into a situation where you can't view Netflix anymore. If you operate at their bandwidth, you're going to run into a situation where their website is effectively crashed. In either one of those cases, we call that a denial of service. Whether you do it to yourself or you do it to them is up to you, but you don't want to deny your own self-service, and you don't want them typically to know that you are spidering their site. So you need to kind of be smart about how you do this. Again, the default is blank. I don't even know what it is, but in this particular instance, I've defaulted to 250K, which is pretty fast. The maximum connections per second also factors into that. So you can hit them for 1 image at a time, or 10 images at a time, or 100 images at a time. I think typically the browsers are limited at 10. That is an internal setting that you can get to on your web browser. You can go in to your own web browser settings and change those if you want things to load quote-unquote faster. Maximum number of links, we're not going to touch that. Alright, flow control. Number of connections. So this is how many concurrent connections you initiate to your host. Again, the browser, like if you fire up your Chrome or your Firefox, it has some internal settings that say, hey, I'm gonna have like 5 different TCP sessions into this remote host. Here you have control over that. So if you were trying to evade detection or prevent any kind of denial of service, this is something that you need to be aware of. The timeouts. This is especially important if you're going more than a depth of 0. So if we go back to scan rules, if we go back to limits, maximum external depth is 2. So that means I'm going to go from this site to one other site and then to one other site. That's a depth of 2. If any one of those sites is offline or broken, when we come back here and in our timeouts, if that site is broken, it's not going to respond, so we may be tying up threads that we could use to be downloading real content from a different site that is actually online. So you can define a timeout here, and then this option, which is not on but by default, but I have it on right now, remove host if timeout. So if my spider list comes up with one of these sites that is not online, no longer online, whatever it is, it'll time out at some point, and once that timeout occurs, the remove host of timeout says, oh, I'm not going to try any more links from that website because it's just a wasted time. And I was just interrupted, but we'll keep going. That's really all of the options that you need to look at. When you get into being an advanced user of this software, you can look at some of these other things. I'm not going to cover it right now. So we're going to say download website, HTTrack.com. I'm not actually going to do this now because I've already done it. But what I will do, I'm going to do an update. And I'm going to do an update for 0 depth. So this should go really quick. We're just going to go through it real quick so I can get through this part of the software, which is clicking the next button. Alright. Basically 3 paths you can take here. The top one says do this effectively now. The bottom one says don't do this at all. We're going to say this is going to go now, and then the other option here is to kick it off, but kick it off in 5 hours. So let's say you go to bed at 9 o'clock and you want to do this between like 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. or something like that. You can put hours, minutes, seconds into these right here, which will basically, when you click finish, schedule the software to kick off at that particular time. So I'm just going to click finish. Right off the bat, you'll see that we're scanning. We're going to HTTrack, we're going to Dojo Press, we're picking up all this stuff. Obviously, I've downloaded a lot of this. A couple of the things you want to look at is, number one, the file's updated. So this percentage meter here kind of gives you an idea of how long it's going to be before you actually complete the scan. The transfer rate, right? So this is effectively the bandwidth that you are using to accomplish this. The bytes saved is what's going to your local hard drive. So again, understand if you're mirroring an entire website, this could be many meg or many gig even, depending on what you're pulling down. And the amount of time that's been running is pretty self-explanatory. So I'm just going to let this run until about now when I click the cancel, because I've already pulled this down prior to the video, because this is like the 8th time that I've shot this video. We're going to pull up our local disk here, which again I have to hide. We have my websites ask HTTrack for Bullshita. So you'll see that there are separate folders for all of the different websites that it's spidered. Some of the cool things that you can do here as far as researching goes is that it's spidered the entire site, so you can see the structure. It's really hard to see the structure if you're just browsing it in a web browser, but if you go in to this kind of directory view, you get an entirely different perspective as to the constitution of the site, the kind of things that they upload and stuff like that. Now, HTTrack has a remarkably simple website. He has this top level folder called pics. I'm going to go in there because these are really interesting, and I can see all of the files that he has under pics. So I don't have to go to like 72 different web pages. I can see all 190 photos that he has uploaded in my local file browser. So I can just pull this up and I can start browsing through them. And of course, it's going to be highly amusing and worthy of commentary. So this guy with sunglasses and shoulder pads, we see a lot. Sunglasses, shoulder pads. There's Ashita Kim. Yeah. Some of these are going to be really funny, I think. There's Ashita Kim. Sunglasses, shoulder pads. Ooh, all right. Now we get into interesting stuff. All right, these are pictures that he's uploaded to his site. Maybe we couldn't find them just by browsing, but we have them all here. This is some sort of screen capture that he's done, and there's some important lessons to be learned here. Number one is that we can see that he's using the AOL quote-unquote fat client. All right, so right here, AOL desktop. Number two is that he has other windows open underneath, and we can see text in those windows. Maybe not enough to do anything with, but there's other text here that we could maybe search. And now he's in Facebook. Alright, so he's searching for Ashita Kim, the Ninja Grandmaster and greatest killing machine of all time. And he's logged in as Joe. And we can see on that page what he was looking at. So let's just keep moving forward. Here he's still on Facebook inside of his AOL. He's looking for Ashita Kim. He's logged in as Joe, and we can still see some stuff back here in this region over here. Maybe pick up a couple of keywords or something like that. Keep moving. Whoa, this may not be safe for young viewers. But here he is on apparently his homepage. He has 3 private messages on Facebook, and it looks like 43 notifications, which could be comments on posts or updates to pages he follows, whatever. But on this particular version of Facebook, we can see over here in the friend bar what his friends are doing, and more importantly, who his friends are. So Herbalist Worm, Dewey Davis, David Chastel, Andy McBride, and Christina Stubblefield. These are all friends of his that have done something recently, and we can see that right in this screenshot. And we won't even talk about this image over here because that is for a different thread. Let's keep moving. Okay, we're still on Facebook. He's got a couple of more windows opened up in the background here. So we can see the names of some of his email folders, which is interesting. Over here, we can't quite get a lot out of here, but it looks like he likes to play Sudoku. Moving along. More pictures. Orange fake Superman, and guy with the sunglasses and shoulder pads in some sort of hotel. Sunglasses, shoulder pads. Immortal champions of sunglasses. Really, is this guy like Corey Hart or something? I wear my sunglasses at night. And, you know, the token little guy in the middle of all the old fat guys. There's Ashita Kim with gold emblazoned clothing. Ooh, she's kind of cute. Keep going. Shoulder pads. Do you see him? I see him. There he is again. Holy crap. Look how small a sheet it is compared to sunglasses, dude. Oh, he's Burger King. And more people we don't know. Stupid stuff. More hotel action. Oh, I get it. This is a NAMBLA meeting. Sunglasses. Shoulder pads. Is that some sort of decorative batleth? Whoa. Oh, yes. NAMBLA. Ooh. Secrets. Secrets, secrets, secrets. All the secrets are stored on somebody's website. You just have to know how to look for them. Wow. That's like a 30-year-old picture. He still has hair. Alright, we'll keep going. Blah, blah, blah. More hotel stuff. What is it with hotels that they have these crazy frickin' carpets? Okay, so here's another important tip. You get these pictures, you can pick up names. Oh. Jay Blanton and Rick something Ean and Jason Carter. So these are people that you can also look up. Alright, sorry for the interruption. We're going to keep going through here. Again, you can get people's names. Susan Sirota. More fancy hotel carpet. The Reverend Nyingbu Wangdu. That is made up, I guarantee. But look, he's wearing a Fuji gi, I think. More stuff that you can pick up out of pictures. Right here. They're going to be in Tampa on November 9th, November 10th in St. Pete. Huh. That's the view out of my house this morning. Ooh. This is for Chimpanzee. Look at those sandbars. I bet there's some good surf there when the waves are right. Haha. Yeah. 2 black stripes on your red gi means that you are invincible. Ah, more old guys on a hotel carpet. What the fuck? Look at this guy. Fatigues and a cowboy hat. And not a person in this room under 50. I always wear tennis shoes when I grapple with my red and white belt. Alright, moving along. Hey, where are your sunglasses? Well, I'm not going to belabor this. You can see that when you get into this kind of website download that there's a lot of interesting stuff that you can find that'll open up whole new avenues of investigation for you once you have the content. And secondarily, having the content in the first place allows you to have a reference even after they've gone and changed all their pages. So you've downloaded all their pictures, you've downloaded all their web pages, and if they change it, you still have an original copy. One of the things that Goodland and myself have been talking about recently is the ability to record this information with some sort of chain of custody in case it needed to be used in any sort of legal environment. I'm going to cover that in a different video, so we'll probably revisit some of this stuff, but I just wanted to let you know that that is one of the things that we think about. If you have any good ideas, feel free to comment in the thread. Other than that, I'm just going to go ahead and, oh, you know what? View error log. So when we were downloading this stuff, there's a lot of bad links and stuff like that. So, there's stuff we couldn't download for one reason or another. Maybe the site was offline. Maybe the page was a dead link that they never updated. Those kind of things will appear in the error log. That will also appear in the directory, the project directory. You can see these are all the websites that we spidered. But if you come down here to htslog.txt, this will have all these 404s and other stuff. Sorry about that. Another interruption, but so basically the stuff that you see in this view error log, this is the log. You can see what things you weren't able to get, So you can go and try and tweak those or whatever to pull them down. At the very least, you have a record of the fact that those were not available resources at the time that you tried to access them. So that's it for HTTrack. Again, a very powerful and very useful piece of software. You should use this before you even start a thread in Maps. Go ahead, download HTTrack, download the entire website, and that way you have a copy to refer to when people start asking questions like, oh, I can't find that image of his black belt certificate. Well, guess what? You already have it. So enjoy, and we'll see you on the next video.